Hi everyone, and welcome to another episode of our Darkest Dungeon playthrough. I'm Crazy Crustacean, and as you can see, you can now see me now! Yay! Isn't that wonderful? Or terrible, depending on your perspective. We are going to get right into it. Since we last picked off, which has been a while ago, there has been a DLC release for Darkest Dungeon called the Crimson Court. I have purchased that and added that to our playthrough here. At the moment, there aren't any aspects of it that have been integrated into what we're seeing right now. It'll sort of introduce itself as we play through the game. The DLC added a couple things that I'll go through over now, just a sort of broad overview. It added a new district, a new dungeon area. It added in a thing called districts, which are sort of more buildings that you can build in your hamlet. They're very expensive, but can offer some really cool benefits for party members or other things. The other thing it added, which I really enjoy, is another class called the Flagrant, I think, and he's another of the religious characters. He's a pretty interesting character, but we'll get more into him once one shows up, if it does. So I figured this episode we could get a little bit more into sort of the overall kind of strategy of the game. And to do that, I'll go into the Embark menu just to sort of illustrate what I'm talking about. So in all of these areas, there is a progress bar and a number. As you successfully do missions in each of these areas, this progress bar fills up, and once it does, it clears a path to the boss of that area. And then you fight one of the two bosses in each area. Each area has two. Kind of as a overall strategy, you don't want to be using the same party members over and over and over again, because they'll out-level the area that you need them to be in. So for an example, say we're looking at the ruins here. Right now, we all have these apprentice level missions, which are, they say, is level 1. Once your heroes over here hit level 3, they can no longer do these apprentice missions. So if you use them too often, and then you need them to go back and fight a boss, they won't do so because they're too prestigious or too experienced to do that sort of thing. So what you want to kind of do is use like a good kind of shuffle around your heroes, try new things, so that when you finally clear a path to the boss, you've still got your favorite heroes within the level range for that. So let's try actually and clear out some more areas in the ruins here so that we can potentially get to a boss and see what that's like. Since we just got back from a mission, several of our members here are pretty filled up on stress. So let's go back to the hamlet and take care of that for them. Let's see what my abomination, he doesn't seem to have anything particular, so we could just put him in the abbey. Well, first actually I'm going to check to make sure that none of these guys have special places they need to be, because you can really screw yourself over by filling up a slot and then finding out that your Hellion or your Vestal can only go in a certain place. But it seems like everyone's pretty flexible, so you're gonna meditate. Another thing with the stress related buildings is that the further down the options they are, the more expensive they are, but the more stress they relieve. So if your guy only has like 50 stress, there's not much benefit putting him in the bottommost option, because it'll just end up paying a lot of gold for not a lot of stress relief. Well, since the caretaker takes up a slot sometimes, he does this all the time, he'll pop between your stress relief buildings and take up a slot. It makes it a little difficult, so there's an element of randomness to where your guys are actually allowed to go. You're gonna go to the brothel, and you're gonna go to the gambling hall. Okay, now let's go on a mission. Okay, let's take our leper with us, actually. He's a pretty fun class. Looks like Reynold is... Oh, right, I think I'm getting rid of his kleptomania, because he just steals too many of my things. Candidacy, are be worth bringing? Yeah, let's hold up here. No, I think I actually like Vabadon better, so we're gonna bring you. And then let's let's actually show the occultist and the bounty hunter. Lords of Position. That's cool. They kind of give you these. They've added a lot more of those party makeup names since the DLC. So first thing I usually like to do when I'm going out on a mission is make sure I've got any trinkets that I want equipped. I don't think there's going to be anything for these guys that I'm particularly looking for, so no, I think we'll just go with kind of our standard group here. Oh, another thing that we can do as well is make sure that these guys have the combat skills that I want. So we're going to go to the guild here, and it looks like I've already upgraded it once. I'm going to upgrade this other one so that I'm not paying as much gold to do this kind of thing.
Every creature has a weakness. The wise hero trains for what she will face.
Okay, so as you can see here, Vabadon's leveled up so we can actually increase her skills a little bit and make her a little better. So we're going to do that so that her heals are better. I'm going to get her this Dazzling Light ability, 'cause it's a stun, and it also makes your torch brighter, so it's a pretty useful ability. Stuns are, I think, a very, very useful thing to have here. So here we have the Occultist. He's another sort of support class. He's also one of the healer classes in the game. He's got an interesting... He's only got one heal. It's called Weird Construction. It can heal from anywhere from 0 to 13, which is a pretty wild range, and it also has a chance of applying a bleed to the hero. So it's a bit of a gamble, but with the right items and stuff, he can do some really intense healing without a lot of risk to your party. Another thing that the Occultist can do is mark targets, which is from this vulnerability hex. And marking a target can affect other heroes or other abilities that other heroes have. For example, in this one I'm going to show you, I'm bringing Reynold, who's a bounty hunter, and as you can see, one of his abilities here, he does a 90% increase of damage against marked targets. So when you use those kinds of heroes in combination, you get some really, really good party combinations and pretty gross damage going. So we're going to go back to the Occultist here to get him the skills that I want him to have. I don't really want him to have Sacrificial Stab, so we're going to get Abyssal Artillery, and I don't really like his stun because it actually makes the torch go down, and I'm not a big fan of that. We're going to get him Demon's Pull because he's got a neat ability where he can pull guys from the back to the front, which makes things pretty handy, and we're going to get the Weakening Curse for him as well. Let's take a look at what my Leper has to go with. The Leper is a pretty basic, like standard frontline kind of tank hero. He can do a lot of damage, but his base accuracy is a little low, so you tend to miss a little more often with him. We're going to get him Hue, and then I also like getting him Solemnity and Withstand. I might have said that wrong. Solemnity is a nice self-heal, and it gives him some buffs to resist other things, and then his Withstand, he marks himself, but he gives himself 25% protection, which just reduces his damage by 25%, and it reduces his stress, which is always nice to have. Okay, and I think we're good to go. So we're going to embark on our mission here. It's a short one, so it should be good here. Okay. Short mission, usually bring around 8 food. Ruins, I like bringing some extra shovels because there's a lot of curios there that require shovels to get extra stuff, so that's usually a nice thing to do. Plus, it really sucks if you get stuck behind an obstacle and you don't have a shovel to deal with it. Always bring some keys and torches. I think we'll only need 8. I'll bring a holy water just in case. Sometimes there's some neat curios that can benefit from that. Take a sip of my beverage here. Okay. That's actually one of the tooltips here that's really nice, is that you can actually, if things are just going really bad for you, you can just run away.
Pace out the halls of your lineage once familiar. Now,
And if you run away, you don't get the victory condition, but you get any of the loot you've got in your inventory. But all of your heroes take a stress hit for being complete and total failures. So let's go check out this side room first. Okay. Bookshelf. I don't think there's anything special we can do here. Oh no. Some scary books. And a trap. Ooh, but I dodged that one, so lucky me. There we go. Ooh, excellent. A bit of an easy one. Okay, so let's take this time to illustrate a few things that I did wrong at the start of this mission. Is one, I forgot to change out the skills that my heroes are using. That's fine though, as long as I remember to do that after this combat, it'll be fine. I just won't get it for this one. So let's illustrate this marked target thing. So first we're going to use the vulnerability hex, and we're going to use it on this big guy.
A singular strike.
I guess that was a critical. So now we can show how much damage we can do against that. There we go. And that, I think, illustrates the point perfectly of how you can really get some nice combos going in Darkest Dungeon. So we're going to use Judgment, so we can take out that guy. These bone skeletons do quite a bit of damage. Oh, I'm really bummed out that I forgot to do... forgot to get the abilities.
Executed with impunity.
Excellent. Okay. So, now that we're back into the shit here, let's stun this guy. It's a mean uppercut. Just like, not only is it a skeleton, but he also knocked it back. So, let's just stab him. That's a weak hit, but as you probably guessed, the occultist is not good for just stabbing things. He's not exactly built for that. Well, let's keep chopping away. Ooh, yeah. As I pointed out, the leper can really dish out some pain with his attacks, but we haven't really seen him miss or anything, so that's nice. The other thing I really like about the Bounty Hunter is that he has this ability called Finish Him, which actually allows him to hit the third target, which is pretty beneficial because if you can bypass those first two positions with an ability, it's always nice. Yeah, you know what, we might as well just keep stabbing. Yeah!
Continue the onslaught.
Stabby, stabby.
Destroy them all.
Okay. Check out this, a locked sarcophagus. So usually if something says locked, it's a pretty surefire indication that you don't need to, but you can use a skeleton key to get some extra loot out of it. And 250 gold, that's pretty low, but oh well, better than nothing. So we have to backtrack a little bit. So I might have my face might be in the way here, but in the top left corner here it says what your objective is for the mission, and in this case it's to scout. So we've got to explore 90% of these rooms in each one. So since we're gonna have to do some backtracking anyways, let's head down here and take care of this stuff. Ooh. So
Watch your step.
a big way to avoid a lot of these traps that I'm hitting is to bring a character that has good scouting chances, and that can be done with either perks. I believe the Grave Robber class type has quite a few benefits to that. She's got a pretty good scouting chance, so she's always really nice because you end up avoiding a lot of traps with your party. So I like keeping my light above 75, just because you don't have any debuffs and you have the best chance of surprising enemies that you may run into, so I always like to keep it above there. So here I'm getting a nice scouting chance, which, well, I mean, luckily there's no traps, but if there had been, I would see them and I'd get a chance to disarm them. We're gonna use you, and let's use the holy water. Usually if you use holy water on altars and stuff like that, it's a fairly beneficial thing. Ooh, a buff. Plus 30% damage until camp. Well, that'll be until the end of the mission here, pretty much. Oh, no, and I forgot to change out my abilities again. Okay. I just gotta remember to do that.
Back to the pit.
Let's give my leper a bit of a heal. He's been taking a bit of a beating.
Be gone, fiend.
That's pretty gross. Dishing out 16 damage every hit. Okay. Now you're gonna need a heal. And as you can kind of see, healing is not the be-all end-all. At most, it is delaying the inevitable. At the beginning, you'll rarely ever be able to actually out-heal the damage that's being dealt to you, so you don't just want to stand back there healing all the time. And that's also why, in a lot of cases in Darkest Dungeon, having no healers in your party is not, like, you're not just screwed, because generally then you're doing other things. So I'm going to clear these corpses out so that he can't just be sitting there shooting me. And we're going to use this wild construction on my bounty hunter. Ooh, nice. See, he is the one exception to that. The occultist can really out-heal, but it's chance. Sometimes you'll end up getting nothing, where he doesn't heal any damage at all. In this case, I got myself a bit of a bleed. That's to be a bit of expected on the leper. Thematically, they do a pretty good job of... The leper doesn't have good bleed resistance or blight resistance either, I don't think.
A faint hope blossoms.
Okay, now we're going to remember to change their skills. And you can actually see right here. Yeah, so he has terrible bleed resistance just because it's a leper. And same thing with disease. It makes sense. Okay, as fun as Purge was, I'd rather have Hew, because it's a area of attack spell, or attack, not really a spell. And then I'm going to get Withstand and Solemnity. Solemnity? We can all make fun of me later. Although he actually does have a bit of bleed resistance, so he's better off than most lepers. Okay, the rest of your skills. I didn't get any different ones, which I should have, because, well, his aren't that bad. Let's get the Weakening Curse. Let's get Demon's Pull as well, that's a fun one. Don't need Hand of Light, but I would like to stun things. Moving right along, such a good time, some good news. Good friends you can't lose. This might become a habit. Ah! Oh no, Bone Courtiers. No, I don't want your wine. Leave me alone. My sobriety. Okay. Another thing with combat too is since these two guys have already gone, it's beneficial for me to try and take out one of these two guys before they even get a turn. So we're going to aim for the Bone Soldier here in hopes that maybe I'll be able to knock him out before he gets to go. Or at the very least make it so that he can't do a lot of damage. So let's try that. Oh, no, here we go, we'll have a chance. So here's why I like this AoE attack.
Press this advantage. Give them no quarter.
An AoE for people who don't know is area of attack. Or area of effect, sorry. Okay, and then I don't want to get wine thrown in my face again, so we'll stun this guy. I like to think that it's the stressful part of this whole thing is that they can't get the wine out of their clothes, and that's just because anyone who's ever spilt wine on any article of clothing knows how much of a pain that is to get out. They're like, oh no, these robes! I just spent hours. It's like when your mom cleans up the house and you just, as a kid, and you just romp through it with your dirty shoes and just undo hours of her work. You know what? No, I really don't like these bone defenders, and getting rid of them is more important than than getting a heal.
The offensive.
Oh, pardon me. Plus, I think we're gonna. Oh yeah, there we go. Yeah, but that's a bleed. Oh well, it still pays off in the end.
Another abomination cleansed from our lands.
Ah no, the wine is getting thrown all over the place. Holy lightning bolt.
The wounds of war can be healed, but never hidden.
I'm gonna do that to maybe get rid of some stress. Since there's not a whole lot else I can do in this combat. That wasn't good. That was not so great. Okay, let's stun this guy again. Oh, this and finish him actually works really well because it does bonus damage against stun. Not that I'm really gonna need it. The guy only has 3 health left, but
remind yourself that overconfidence is a slow and insidious killer.
Treasure. That was a good spoils there. Okay, then we gotta go back. Do a bit of backtracking as always. Well, I guess not as always. The ruins are a little more common for that. So every once in a while this hunger thing will pop up. If you got food, use it. Because otherwise you take a lot of damage and a lot of stress. Well, because you're starving. It makes sense. This will be a pretty boring walk. Oh, super boring because of empty curio. It's always still a good idea to keep an eye on the map, because sometimes when you end up backtracking like this, monsters will pop up or traps will be like reset or set. So always want to be looking at your map there. Ooh, I'm not getting lucky with the loot here on this run. A lot of already looted packs and things. And I'm running out of torches and food. Well, this might be an excellent illustration of why you need to carry extra of that stuff sometimes. See, I was trying to be clever and skimp out on supplies, but as we can see, that might not have worked out in my favor. Some gold and some deeds, which are useful for building structures. Oh dear. Oof. That's no fun. So maybe the bounty hunter can just take you down. That's not so good. Oh, that was all right though. That dodge. Ooh, 1 health. Damn. Well, area of effect. There we go. And let's stun you so you don't shoot all my people again. So if there's one thing that's really not good for your health, it's bullets. Let's mark him as well. See if the bounty hunter can have a bit better luck this time with his damage. There we go.
Obliterated.
Well said, narrator. Let's take this opportunity to give you a bit of health back. drop some of that sanity loss. Let's see, I can like stun him again. Nope. Okay. Well, I can still use his area of effect attack to try and take out those corpses, which still worked out, so. And now an axe to the face. Which did surprisingly low damage for an axe to the face. Sure, there we go. Give you a heal. Okay, so his dodge goes down. It's sort of at this point in the fight where you're just like, okay, just get to one of my dudes who can finish him off. There we go. And that's the end of that.
Foolish horrors,
Let's
brought low and driven into the mud.
set my party back in order there. And so that symbol just means there's just a fight here. Oh, but it's just spiders. Which I will happily take, because God do I hate these things. Oh, man. Let's see if I can stun one. There we go.
In radiance, may we find victory.
At least save me a bit of time there. Or a little bit of pain. Except for that just happened. Okay.
Another one
Okay.
falls.
Oh, one gone at least. I'll take that. Yeah, see, these guys use marked actually quite a bit, so now they'll probably end up going after him. And they'll do a decent amount of damage, I think. Well, more than they normally would, but he's got good blight resistance. That was actually pretty impressive. Oh, okay, now. Yeah, you do need a healer, buddy. Oh, no. This is not going well for us this time here. Okay, there we go. The tide turns. I needed that because that was getting a little dicey there for our occultist. That one already got to go, so let's do a party heal. Oh, that was weak. But still not entirely useless. I'm going to use vulnerability because it makes this thing less dodgy. And I'm really getting tired of my my leper missing all the time. There we go. Problem solved.
As victories
an
mount,
item for our
so
abomination.
too will resistance.
Okay, let's go with this last room. And as we can see here on the map, we found a trap. So now we'll hopefully be able to... Okay, so here's an interesting curio that we're not going to touch ever. We might do it on one of the episodes, but not this one. This curio, when you throw a torch into it, you fight a mini-boss, and by mini-boss I mean it's the hardest boss I've ever fought in this game, by a long shot. So I'm pretty sure you get some really cool stuff if you kill it, but we're not going to do that with my party of level 1 people. So instead we're going to try and disarm this trap. Once you get close to a trap, a little symbol will show up that'll actually give you the percentage of success that they have to disarm the trap. So we're going to use the bounty hunter because he's got 80. And he still failed. So, you know,
Ancient traps lie
that's
in
wonderful.
wait, unsprung and thirsting for blood.
Well, they got it. They got it. And this should hopefully be the last room so we can get the hell out of here. There we go. We're gonna leave. We're just gonna go. I'm gonna take my stuff and
The great
just get out of
ruins
here.
belong to us, and we will find whatever secrets they hold.
Wonderful. Yeah, it's people leveled up. And flawed release, awesome. Actually, that's fine. I actually like it when they get negative perks like this that are effectively useless or don't affect them, because he doesn't use the range skills, so that's good. Kleptomaniac. Oh, we're gonna have to get rid of that. And another Reynold. What is with people and what is with Reynold and stealing stuff? I feel like this game is trying to tell me something. It's a good thing I don't know any Reynolds in real life, because I'd start to get suspicious.
Though long years may seek to separate them, action and consequence will invariably have their dreadful reunion.
So as we get back, there's a little event here called a Maddening Wine. This is one of the Crimson Court events, and it's actually sort of the event that will lead you into starting the Crimson Court storyline and stuff like that. Overall, I'd actually probably recommend not going into the Crimson Court stuff right away, because it's a little difficult and adds a pretty interesting challenge to the game. So I'd recommend doing it once you have a few heroes who are like I'd probably say, I don't know, maybe 6 or so heroes that are at least level 1 or 2 and have some upgraded stuff to them, because it can get a little tough if you get in over your head with it. But the nice thing is there are a lot of parts of it that are fairly optional to move in at your own pace. So another thing is I like looking over the activity log to see what happened while I was gone. So all the people who regained stress, or recovered stress, I guess. Looks like my Hellion got the bad gambler quirk from gambling, which is funny. And Reynold, not to be confused with Reynold. Yeah, got rid of his kleptomania. And now we have a few more places unlocked, like the Nomad Wagon, where you can buy and sell items at ludicrous amounts of money.
The forgotten corners of the earth.
And then this is someone who can teach you the...
She is a stalwart survivor and a strict instructor.
Okay, now the narrator's done. This is a place where you can upgrade your camping skills and change which ones you want. Or I guess not upgrade, but select your camping skills. You can't really upgrade them like regular skills. So what we're gonna do for here is I think we will send our guys off to their various places to relieve stress. Reynold is going to go to the Penance Hall, and Montague is going to go... Oh, he can only meditate, and I believe the caretaker was in there, so I guess... Oh, what? He can only meditate. Oh, may not meditate while in town. Oh, okay. That's what happens when you don't read. So you're gonna go to the bar. The rest of you should be fine. Okay, and I think we'll call it there for this episode. Join us next week, where we'll get into some of the Crimson Court stuff, and we'll hopefully see a flagrant or a boss. So, till next time, game safe and have fun.